Hi, this is Dawn, the Ginger Cat Stitcher, and today I have a super quick and easy tutorial for you on how you can take one of your stitched pieces and make it into a drum. Now I'm calling this a faux drum because there's no sewing involved and it's simply covering a can. So this one that I made here is covering a little mini Pringles can. So the supplies for this project are really pretty simple. We just need a can, fabric for the top and the bottom, some trim, white glue, hot glue, cardboard, some fusible fleece, batting, and an embellishment for the top if you want. So this is my finished piece that I am going to be turning into a drum today. And in case you're interested in these patterns, this one is called Beehive Pillow by Teresa Miller, and it's from the 2023 Summer Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. The second one is Stitching with the Housewives, Honeybee, What's in My Cup, and I just stitched the bee skips. Alright, so to begin you need to select a can, and you need to make sure that your can is tall enough so that you can fit your whole design in there, and then big enough around so that when you wrap your fabric around it, your design goes all the way around it or nearly all the way around it. So next thing you're going to do is turn your fabric over, and I've marked here with a pen the height of the can plus a generous 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom. And then the length measurement here is the measurement around your can. So that'll be your length. And then I added a generous 1/2 inch on each side so that you have room to fold the fabric over. So you're going to be folding the sides and the top and bottom over, so you need that extra. So then this is a piece of fusible fleece, and this is cut to the dimensions of the can. So there's no extra seam allowance on this fleece at all. So it's just the width or the height of the can and then the circumference. And I have it cut so that it fits right between the two little lips on either end, and then it matches up. So then next thing we're going to do is just fuse this to the back of the stitching. And if you didn't have fusible fleece, you absolutely can just use a piece of quilt batting and just glue that to your can. So once you have the fleece adhered to the back of your pattern, we're going to use the white glue to glue it to the can. So we'll just put a strip of the white glue, and there's no need to cover the whole can in glue, just this one strip will work. So then you're going to take one end of your stitching and put that right into the glue and press down. And then you want to wrap it around and take your time and make sure that everything is straight and matches up here at the end. Fold your edge over and apply a thin bead of the white glue, and then press that down and just hold it for a little while until it sticks into place. Now this next step uses hot glue, and I'm so sorry I was out of frame, but what you're going to do is fold your raw edges, top and bottom, over onto the bottom of the can, as you can kind of see down there in the bottom left corner. Just going to run a bead of hot glue around and then press your fabric down into that. And then the same on the top edge here, I just ran a bead of hot glue inside the edge there and folded my fabric over. That way you have a finished edge, top and bottom. So this next step is to create the fabric covered circles that form the top and the bottom. So onto your cardboard, you're going to trace around your can and then cut out 2 circles. And then you're going to cut out 2 circles of fabric that are larger than your cardboard circles. And then you're going to cut out 4 pieces of the batting that are the same size as your circles. So for the bottom, you will use one of those batting circles and then your cardboard, and then you'll glue your fabric around. And then for the top, you're going to use 3 of the batting circles, And then you'll do the same thing. You'll fold your fabric over and hot glue it down. And then using the white glue, and you want to use the white glue because it'll dry clear, you're going to run a bead of glue around the top and bottom edge of the can and then stick the fabric covered circles on. And I'm just showing here that it's a nice finished seam right there that you could stitch decorative stitches over if you wanted. And then the top and bottom are glued on. So for the second drum, I wanted to show you that you can stitch on this Aida ribbon. And this is commonly sold for making bookmarks, but you can also buy it in long lengths. And this is the stitching with the housewives pattern. I've just eliminated the mug and stitched all of the beehives in a row. And this type of ribbon comes in different sizes. So there's this mini size that's about 1 inch high, and that works great on a tuna can. And then there's the 2-inch version that I used. And then there's also a 3-inch wide version. And then a jumbo 4-inch wide. And I found all of these on eBay and Etsy. So they're just another fun way of making a drum. So this drum is going to be finished the same exact way. I found a can that matched the height and the diameter I needed. The only difference is I don't have fabric to glue over to the bottom and top of the can. So in this case, I just run a bead of the white glue right directly onto the metal. All right, we're almost done. So you can see the top and bottom are glued on, and now's the time to glue on the trim. This is totally optional. If you like the finished look right there, go ahead and stop and you're all done. For this case, I'm going to go ahead and glue this little baby white chenille around the top and the bottom. I just think that gives it a nice little spark of color. So I'll run a very tiny little bead of the white glue, again because it dries nice and clear. And I'm going to do that around the top, and then I'm going to do that around the bottom. So here they are, all finished. So for this one, I used a light green chenille and trimmed that on the top and the bottom. I think it looks really cute. Kind of looks like the bee skips are sitting in grass. So there's that one. And then for this one, I did that white chenille, and I think that it goes really well with the bee wings. And then I found this felted bee, and I just put a pin up in him and stuck him up top there. And there we go, we're all finished. So once you get it together, it does have a very nice soft feel to it. It doesn't feel hard like a tin can at all because we used the fleece or the batting behind the stitching. So it does have a very nice fabric, soft, stuffed kind of feeling to it. And it's a very quick and easy way to finish a cross-stitched piece. I hope you give it a try. And I want to thank you all very much for watching this tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you have lots of time for stitching. And I thank you very much again, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.